Hi, Jason here from Spiritualbabies.net, and I thought I'd make a short video on one very small part of Exodus 16:9, which says, "Then Moses said to Aaron, say to the whole Israelite community, advance towards the Lord, for he has heard your grumbling. And as Aaron spoke to the whole Israelite community, they turned towards the wilderness, and there, in a cloud, appeared the presence of the Lord." So I was reading this, and I don't want to kind of get all churchy and ministry and up in your face, but a few things really stood out. First of all, the Lord heard the people's grumblings and decided to answer them. Jehovah heard his people that he'd brought out of Egypt, complaining they weren't happy, and wanted to, in some way, placate their grumblings, which I find just amazing. I mean, it's God. He can do what he wants. His will is the whole encompassment of who he is. If we complain, who are we to complain? So that blows my mind. Moreover, he hears the grumblings and he speaks to Moses, who then speaks to Aaron to speak to the people. So we know from our Torah studies that there are some insinuations that Moses was, it says slow of tongue. Does this mean he had a speech impediment? Possibly. Maybe he had a stutter. Maybe he wasn't happy talking to an audience. Maybe he had insecurity issues talking to people on on some sort of level. We know when he gets angry, he's no problem. When he's riled up and ready to go and on fire, then he can stand there with the best of them. But some messages, it seems he's uncomfortable to give, and I like that about Moses. It makes him a very human person. So then Moses said to Aaron, and Aaron was really the mouthpiece for Moses. And not only that, but Aaron was the physical representative of Jehovah in temple. And Aaron and his offspring just had the most amazing job opportunity. And who else in history has had that ability to be able to? I mean, Aaron could do things Moses couldn't do. You know, in the way he worked for the community, the way he integrated himself into the lives of the Israelites, and the way he defined a process of communication between the people and Jehovah, and the way they can come to Jehovah. Aaron was he was blessed in many ways. To reread, then Moses said to Aaron, say to the whole Israelite community, speak to all of the people, advance towards the Lord, for he has heard your grumbling. Advance toward the Lord. It's interesting that Aaron is speaking to the Israelites, and he doesn't say the Lord has heard your grumbling, so get ready for some quail. He says advance towards the Lord, and when he says this, as Aaron spoke to the whole Israelite community, they turned towards the wilderness, and there, in a cloud, appeared the presence of Jehovah. I know in my own walk there have been plenty of times where I may have grumbled. There have been plenty of times when I've grumbled, and Jehovah has answered some of those grumblings. Or maybe there have been times when I've worried, and Jehovah has answered those worries, or panicked, or just I've been confused. And I'll admit, when I panic, when I worry, when I grumble, and when I'm confused, I don't always take it straight to Jehovah. Sometimes I'll sit on it, I'll just swallow it down, and things get worse. But when I do offer it up, and when it's His will for that worry or concern to be addressed, He addresses it. And I'll also admit that sometimes when He addresses these problems, I'll just keep moving on in the direction I'm in. I'll see what He's done, and I'll be grateful. But do I stop and turn around? Or when I ask for help, when I pray for help, do I stop then and turn around? When I can see things changing, do I stop and turn around? Aaron says to the whole Israelite community, advance toward the Lord, for he has heard your grumblings. And as Aaron spoke to the whole Israelite community, they turned towards the wilderness, and there in a cloud appeared the presence of the Lord. So at this point, Israel doesn't understand what the answer to their grumbling will be. Aaron could quite have easily said, Jehovah has heard your grumblings and decided that you're all a load of moany, whiny people. Can you not be happy with what you've got? They don't know, but they still stop. They understand that Jehovah is speaking to them, that there's a communication here between them and their Maker, and they stop and they look towards the wilderness. So that in itself, how fantastic that they know where to look. They look towards the desert and they see in a pillar of smoke, in a column of smoke, the presence of Jehovah. So I'm going to take away from this a little reminder. I'm going to take away from this a little sticky note to myself, a little reminder, a post-it. The next time I'm concerned or feeling moany and grumbly and whiny about my lot and the way things are going, rather than just praying for some relief, for some saving move to bring me into a place where I'm slightly less confused, I'll stop, because I know that Jehovah can hear my prayers and he can hear my grumblings. So I'll stop and I'll look towards Jehovah. I'll look towards the empty spaces. I'll look towards the stillness and wait and see what his answer is. I hope you've enjoyed this message. Thanks for listening. It's Jason, Spiritual Babies from spiritualbabies.net.